Good afternoon, dear parents. Our chairman, managing director, Mr. Shabaz, and our guiding force, Ms. Fatima, our academic director, Ms. Nivedita Mukherjee, our academic advisor and mentor, Ms. Sonal Chowda, our EYP consultant, my colleagues, and my dear students. I'm extremely sorry. We had another presentation for the science students and parents, and there were some technical glitches for which we got a little delayed. I'm really sorry to have kept you waiting. A warm welcome to you all to the curriculum presentation for grade 11 Humanities for the academic session 21-22. It is indeed a moment of pride to present before you the curriculum for the new academic session for grade 11. Parents, as you know, Capstone High believes in offering 21st century education, which is directly linked to sustainability challenges of the 21st century. And we need to continuously develop the curiosity and humanity of all our learners in an inclusive environment. Students are expected to develop skills they need to succeed in this new world, and it is our responsibility to help them grow the confidence to practice those skills. Rooted strongly in the national curriculum CBSE, the pedagogy at Capstone is adopted in line with the national education policy, keeping in mind the global standards to meet the learning needs of a whole child. Students are trained to be curious in their environment and sensitive about their community, aware of the local needs and the global dimensions. And this can only happen through experiential learning. So students are exposed to real-life examples to connect the conceptualized classroom teaching, leading to competency building. CBSE, while looking at the competency building to develop the 21st century skills, have made focus on 3 areas of learning. Learning the innovation skills, that is the 4 C's: critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Literacy skills, that includes information, media, technology skills, and life skills and career skills. So at Capstone High, as I told you, we emphasize on developing all these areas of learning, information, life, and the competency-based, inquiry-based learning through the core subjects. So today at this platform, we are going to discuss the curriculum expectation of each subject areas, the standards and assessment, and also the curriculum instructions and the learning environment in which they will be offered these curriculum. Next slide, please. Here are some objectives that CBSE has offered, and they are developing over the years. So it is to encourage the academic activities are sound and encourage students to develop their competencies in a stress-free, child-centric environment so that the students do not compromise on their quality. The focus and the objective is also to help the child adapt innovative methods of learning so that they can achieve their academic excellence with psychological, pedagogical, and social principles in mind. So the teachers are also equipped to provide the students with these, and they are trained in different areas of pedagogical development over these changing times. So the CBSE also encourages school to document the progress of the students in a very friendly manner, and this is what is we are going to do through the IEPs. I'll explain you the IEPs at the end and the importance of IEPs in a child's development. So we expect you also to share your feedback with us, because like a 360-degree feedback always gives us opportunity to develop the child's progress. And as you know, CBSE is constantly upscaling their methodologies, their pedagogies, their planning, the teachers' training, so that the teachers could be upbeat with the changes in the present times. And there has been some changes that has again come up this year, with exams not being held due to the lockdown situation. We will be sharing with you in some time down the line this month, end of this month, the expectation of the assessment that board is planning. We also have not yet received any focused guideline on the changes that might they are planning. So once we get to know about it, we will be sharing with you once again. Next slide, please. So these are the prime focus, which somewhat overlaps with what I already mentioned. Innovation in teaching learning methodologies by devising student-friendly and student-centered paradigms, the practices as well as the methodologies. The skills learning by adding job-oriented and job-linked inputs. We will be discussing this at the end of the curriculum, because every subject will also be talking about the classroom teaching and industrial links. As we had mentioned earlier in our parent orientation, we are planning to have the life skills developed through industry institution linkages, where we will be inviting experts from different field of operations to share their views, so that we can help the children identify that the gap that exists today between the institutions and the industries. We want to help students to develop their competencies so that they become future ready to take up any challenges that they may face. In this regard, I may take the history of Kodak company. Kodak in 1998 had 1.7 lakh employees. It had 85% of the photography across the world, one of the leading photographic material and equipment company. The company had to face bankruptcy in 1988 and closed down with the advent of the mobile phones replacing the use of camera. So a lot of people lost their jobs, and today we see that 70 to 90% of the job opportunities that are existing today will no more exist in the next 10 years. We can see that happening. The kirana shops, the corner shops around the corner have almost were forced to shut down. What emerged as the online business, online shopping, due to lockdown. So these are the challenges that are coming up in today's world, and there are different areas of operations which are coming to prominence, and certain areas which were very, very flourishing industries like real estate, like the shopping industry, the business, the retail business, they have seen a dip. So the children need to be equipped to handle these crises that may arise in the future, be future ready to face the challenges. And that's why it is important to connect the classroom teaching to the real life situation. We are slowly moving to the fourth industrial revolution, where the world is virtual and we live in a shrinking world. So let us see how we can equip our students, and let us see what are the curriculum expectations. If we can move on to the next slide, Suchishmita. So as recommended by CBSE, to cater to the needs of 21st century learners and to build up competencies, subjects are offered cross-discipline. So the subjects offered at Capstone are the ones which are flashed in the screen. So the students have to choose 5 subjects, and they can choose another extra subject, 6 subjects. So language option is compulsory, and though we have offered English core elective, Hindi core elective, but most of our students have chosen to do English core option, because that develops their communication skills definitely. Now, for subject 2, they have the option of choosing from language options as well as optional course subjects. By course subjects, we have the theory-based subjects and subjects which has practical components also. So the subjects flashed on the screen marked in red are the subjects which has the practical component along with the theory, whereas those which are marked in black are theory-based subjects where you have 80% of 80 marks are devoted to theory paper and 20 marks are for project. Now, the students need to choose one of these subject areas, and then they have to choose 3 subjects across optional or core subjects that are mentioned there. In addition, they can take another core subjects. So the subjects that are opted by our students this year are English as a core subject, history, political science, psychology, computer science, economics, and sociology, business administration, and applied mathematics. So we also have information technology that were opted by students. So I would request Ms. Suchishmita to guide you through the objective of this curriculum presentation, and she along with our other colleagues will take you through the curriculum expectations in the session ahead. Over to you, Ms. Suchishmita.
Thank you, Ms. Ratna. Good afternoon, parents and all present here today for our for this curriculum presentation. So how we have designed the presentation is that we are going to walk you through the subject expectation and what would be the curriculum breakup for each of these subjects. What is the rationale behind doing this, studying these subjects? What kind of career paths can open up because of these subjects? So to begin with, we will discuss with you subject-wise, what is the rationale of studying a certain subject, how it can help you to understand the world around you, how it can help you with your career opportunities. Secondly, we will talk to you about how the curriculum in grade 11 and 12 has been broken down such that you have a clear idea as to what the expectation of your board, CBSE, has from your for each of these subjects. Finally, we will also discuss the pattern of assessments as to what would be the relative weightage of theory paper and practical papers, what would be the relative weightage of your everyday performance in class. All that will also be discussed by your respective teachers. Now, we will begin with presenting the curriculum for English. Now, Sanjay sir is our English faculty. However, today is a very special day in his life because he has been blessed with a baby girl and has to be with his family at this point in time. That's why he could not be present for this presentation with us all. So I will stand on his behalf and present the curriculum for English on his behalf and walk you through the different expectations. So as you know that English is again a good knowledge of English helps you to access different genre like science fiction, poetry, newspaper articles or novels. You just name it. It helps you read it and appreciate it. It is an international language, and hence a good amount of proficiency in English helps you quite a bit in understanding what the being able to communicate with people all across the world. Apart from that, English is a very, very key subject when we come to looking at it as a way of improving your proficiency or your productivity in the professional domain. Because when we come to English and your mastery over English, that is very essential, not only for acing your board examinations, but also all national level examinations have got certain paper in verbals, which tests your proficiency in English, and also your ability to communicate effectively will determine how productive you can be in your professional domain. So moving on from there, we will look at the objectives as has been discussed by CBSE and laid out for all teachers to follow. The first one is promoting higher order language skills, followed by teaching students how to develop confidence and proficiency in the use of language skills that is necessary for social, academic, and professional purposes. Develop ability and acquire knowledge required in order to engage in independent reflection and inquiry. Again, as I said, that your ability to understand the world, whether by listening to news that is coming on media or reading something which can be either academic in nature or it can be something general like a newspaper report, and comprehending it correctly will enhance your understanding of the world around you. And finally, of course, reading comprehension and appreciation of different genres of writing, like science fiction, drama, poetry, biography, autobiography, travelogues, etc. The skills and competencies that is intended to be developed in students through the study of language is not only linguistic skills, which is of course one of the major importances, but also the teacher will guide the students such that they can develop their confidence in public speaking, they can be active listeners, and they can develop social and emotional intelligence. It is said by academicians that your exposure to world literature helps you to develop your emotional quotient and helps you to understand how people around us are feeling or how they are reacting to different situations. Finally, we come to the topology of questions, or what kind of questions can you expect from in the boards from your paper. So first one, that is the basic or the lower order thinking skills, would be 35%, where you would be asked to either recall or remember either grammar or maybe certain character traits of a character from a poetry or a novel. Then would be your ability to analyze and interpret certain certain novel or a poetry. So you might be asked to critically analyze or critique a poetry and compare it with another novel or poetry such that you get better understanding of it. And finally, you would be asked questions on reasoning, evaluation, and creativity. There you will be asked to draw from the experience of your own life and environment to justify different points of view that one can develop from studying the piece of literature, which can be a drama or a poetry or a novel, and so on. The curriculum breakup in grade 11 has got three components: the reading comprehension, creative writing skills and grammar, and finally literature. And the breakup or the credit breakup would be that you would have 80 marks of that would be allocated to reading comprehension, grammar, and literature, and another 20 marks that would be allocated to practical examination which will be conducted by your teacher based on your listening and speaking skills. The curriculum breakup in grade 12 will be, again, it has got three components of reading comprehension, creative skills and grammar, and finally literature portion. And again, the breakup would be same, 80% of theory paper and the rest would be 20% practical that will assess your listening and speaking skills. Now, the assessment of the speaking skills would depend on the following parameters. First is that there would be one-on-one interaction with your teacher where you will be assessed on your ability to interact, your ability how fluently you can speak, your ability to pronounce words correctly, And finally, your accurate use of vocabulary and grammar and structure of the language. The assessment of speaking and listening skills will be done by the teacher 101 by setting up certain classroom engagement where you can have group discussions, classroom discussions where your speaking skills can be evaluated. Your listening skills will be evaluated by letting you hear a certain conversation or audio of an article or a speech, and then post that you would be asked to answer several multiple choice questions or asked to answer higher order thinking questions on basis of your comprehension of what you heard. As part of your English curriculum, you will have several PBL activities and subject enrichment activities, which will be research-based, and you would be required to also come up with your own expository and argumentative essays, where you have to come up with details to support what you are saying. Finally, you would also be put into situations where you have to debate on a certain topic, and that would be a test of both your written and your oral communication. Finally, what is the role of the English teacher? The teacher will promote a habit of self-learning and would make you less dependent on the teacher. The teacher's role is more of a facilitator. They will conduct role plays, dramatizations, group discussions, post-reading activities, and presentations to develop a holistic proficiency of the language. And finally, they would encourage you to conduct primary and secondary research, and will also guide you on how to develop proper citation and ethical codes of referencing. Now we come to the final slide, which I think is the most important part of pursuing any language. The skills that you can develop by studying English are essentially transferable, and it has got its application in various fields in whichever walk of life you are you have chosen to pursue your career in. However, some of the direct career paths that open up is academician, journalist. You can become an editor or a web content developer. You can become a public relations professional. You can become an author or a writer. There is huge career opportunities in the advertisement department, and you can also become a lexicographer. So all of these are possible career opportunities that can open up in front of you. Now, moving on from here, we will start, taking you through all of the major electives. And since I'm on the floor, so I will present my subject first, that is economics. What are the expectations? What are the possible career opportunities that can open up if you pursue economics? And what are the objectives of learning the subject? So if we come to the rationale of doing economics, it is, as we all know, that it is a social science, and it uses scientific methods to understand how scarce resource of our economy and across the world is exchanged in a society. As an economist, you also study theories and techniques that are useful for developing policies in the government for addressing problems in the society. So all the government policies and schemes that you hear of, starting from the demonetization to the introduction of the GST to the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, all of that you can understand better if you have got theoretical understanding of the subject of economics. And finally, when you combine all of this knowledge, what you achieve is a better understanding of the world. The objectives of the subject, as has been aligned by the CBSE board, is equipping students with basic tools of economics and statistics to analyze economic issues. So here, because economics is a very quantitative driven political science subject. That's why a working knowledge of mathematics and statistics is absolutely essential to develop a good understanding of the economic theories. Realization of learners' role in nation building, and sensitivity to current economic issues. So in class, there would be always reference to current economic issues, to schemes and policies of the government, not only at the global level, but also at a local level. And finally, analyze real-world economic problems and propose solutions to it. So the students will not be able to do it right away, maybe at the beginning of grade 11, but as and when they progress with their syllabus and they learn more about the subject, they would also be able to analyze real-world problems and maybe propose solutions to these problems that we are facing as citizens of not only India, but all across the world. So to sum it all up, it helps you to develop better understanding of the world, and it also helps you to appreciate different points of views and perspectives on different economic issues. So all economic issues, whether local or global in nature, are great topics for debate. Finally, the skills and competencies, of course, as I already mentioned, it is about appreciating multiple perspectives. It is about solving problems. It is about analyzing data that you have collected through surveys to understand problems. It is about logically understanding the causal relationship between the different factors in the society. It is about developing a commercial, financial, and cultural awareness. And of course, the general skills, which are common across subjects: communication skills, teamwork, and research skills. So all of these competencies and skills will be addressed across the curriculum and your classes in grade 11 and 12. Now, if I come to the curriculum breakup in grade 11, and that is the first year of your study, you have two papers, paper A and paper B. The first paper is Statistics for Economics, and the second paper is the Introductory Theory of Microeconomics. And the breakup would be 80 marks of theory and 20 marks of practical or project work, where you will be given real life scenarios, whether it is government policies at a local level and global level, and you have to apply economic theories to analyze them. Your curriculum breakup for grade 11 would be the study of macroeconomics and the Indian economic development, where you will have to study the economy of India and how it has evolved since independence. Again, the breakup is for 80 marks and 20 marks. 80 marks of theory paper followed by 20 marks of practical. Now, what is the topology of questions? 55% of the questions that will be asked during the board examination would be on basis of lower order thinking skills, where you have to remember facts, concepts, and understand various theories in economics. So a typical example would be, what is opportunity cost, where you can be asked to define a certain economic concept. In the next level, you would be asked to apply that what you have learned. So maybe you will be given a certain scenario where it is a problem, and you have to apply the concept of opportunity cost to understand what that problem is. Finally, you have to analyze, evaluate, and create. This is where you will be asked to take examples from your own surrounding and life and understand how these economic theories are applicable in your life and how certain policy measures of the government is affecting you and your family and your environment, your community, your nation. So this is where you make connection to real world scenarios. As you already know, that projects are a major part of economics, and real world scenario analysis is very important for what we do. So we will probe deeper into theoretical concepts using institutional and industrial links. We will apply economic theories to understand the world around us, and we will evaluate many or various economic scenarios to understand how they are affecting us on an everyday basis. Some sample projects that you will face along the course of your study is the effect of solar energy versus a conventional mode of energy. What is the cost benefit analysis of that? What might be the effect of the COVID-19 crisis on Indian economy, on its GDP, on its employment, on its inflation rate, etc.? What might be the different components of the budget? So we will watch budget presentations in class, and we will analyze its component, and we will try to understand how the budget decisions affect different sectors of an Indian economy. Finally, cost benefit analysis of various schemes, like we know Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, or Krishi Sinchai Abhiyan, whatever schemes, new schemes the government is bringing about. What is the cost that the government is bearing? What public cost is the government bearing? And what is the benefit that is arising from it? So these are just a few samples. There are several more that is following. And again, the role of the teacher is only that of a facilitator. Apart from your textbooks, the teacher will provide supplementary material from RBI, reports from RBI, from Niti Aayog, reports from IMF and World Bank, reports which are published in newspaper articles, and there would be discussions conducted, detailed discussions and debate conducted on basis of that. Your teacher will guide you to conduct primary research, where you will learn from the society itself by asking questions and conducting service. And finally, the role of the teacher is to guide you as to how to do research in an academically honest way by quoting the sources of from where you have taken your resources. Finally, we come to the last but not the least, the most exciting part of the thing, that what are the career opportunities. So as I said, that again, the skills, because these skills are problem solving skills, critical analysis skills, communication skills, all of these skills are transferable. Even if you don't become an economist, whichever walk of life you go to, you can apply these skills. However, some direct career opportunities that open up: you can become a chartered accountant, you can become a data analyst, you can become an economist, you can become a market research analyst, those who pick up data from the market on different products and analyze that data. You can become a journalist, you can become an actuary. Actuaries actually, this is closely related to statistics and risk analysis in stock market and in the insurance sector. And finally, you can find several roles in public sector sectors where the government policies are taken and government schemes are implemented. So these are just to name a few. Now we will move on to applied mathematics, and I will request Ms. Shajni to take over the presentation from here.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening. Looking into the applied mathematics subject, applied mathematics course is designed to develop substantial mathematical skills and methods needed in other subject areas. Topics covered in 2 years aim to enable students to use mathematical knowledge in the field of business, economics, and social sciences. Looking into the objectives of the subject, the broad objectives of teaching applied mathematics at senior school stage intend to help the students to develop an understanding of basic mathematical and statistical tools and their applications in the field of commerce and social sciences. It also develops logical reasoning skills and applies the same in simple problem solving. It enables the students to make connections between mathematics and other disciplines and apply it in real life situations. Looking into the skills and competencies, mathematical literacy emphasizes three processes, namely formulate, employ, and interpret. The skills and competencies developed through mathematics provide the students opportunities to be equipped with important mathematics needed for the better educational, professional, and social choices. This empowers students to investigate, to make sense of, and to construct mathematical meanings from new situations. Moving on to the curriculum breakup, the course structure of grade 11 consists of 8 units. The written assessment or the theory one is a single paper for 3 hours and it carries 80 marks. The internal assessment carries 20 marks, in which 10 marks will be taken from the activities done during class and the other 10 marks from the periodic assessments. The examination pattern of grade 12 is also the same as grade 11. The internal assessment comprises 20 marks and the written assessment comprises 80 marks. Activities shall be performed by the student throughout the year from the activities given by the NCERT manual. All these activities done will be assessed. The few examples of the activities are mentioned in this slide. Also here, the criteria on which we will assess also will be mentioned to the students so that they know on what basis that they have to work on for each activity. The marking scheme of the assessment is done based on the mark allotted for each chapter. Subject-specific mark schemes are shared with students and are available in the Google Classroom also. Looking at the career opportunities of the students, today actually students prefer to choose careers that need them to step out of the comfort zone and do something new. With the new career opportunities arising every day, there is a demand for skilled resources in every sector. Here is a sample list for some future choices to explore following studies in applied mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you, Shajni. Now I will request Ms. Aisha to present business administration.
Thank you, ma'am. I welcome you all to the Business Administration curriculum. As a skill-based course, it focuses highly on practical applications in the real world to improve employability. The rationale: the course touches upon management and leadership skills with a focus on communication, presentation, and using of computers in the workplace. It focuses also on analytical and problem-solving skills, and very importantly, listening skills. Some of the objectives of the business administration course are listed over here. Primarily, the course will help students understand different types of businesses and their functions within the business. It will help in inculcating an aptitude of entrepreneurship while building skills that a student will need to succeed irrespective of career choice. Students use this as a skill-based course, and they can supplement any of the other learnings that they have and use the business skills course in their careers. Some of the skills and competencies that they will develop due to the business administration course are in the next slide. Yes, thank you. This slide, basically we talk about some of the crucial skills that they will be developing during the course. These skills are very important for a successful career or a business. Communication skills will touch upon styles of communication tailored towards the listener, persuasion skills, etc. Self-management skills deals with self-exploration and presentation, time management, teamwork, and team building. ICT skills are some basic computer skills mandatory for efficient working in any industry. Entrepreneurial skills and values help people set up their own businesses and drive success. Green skills refers to sustainable development goals, problems, and promotions within the environment. Business skills refers to various operations, environment, functional areas, management, and leadership. Next slide, please. This is the curriculum breakup for grade 11. Basically, there is a 70-30 distribution between theory papers and practical work. 70 marks is further bifurcated, and 60 marks is basically for business skills with topics such as business operations, business environment, products and services, types of organizations, formation of different types of companies, etc. And 10 marks are skills, employability skills like communication, entrepreneurship, self-management, etc. And 30 marks are practical work, which includes projects and viva. For grade 12, similarly in grade 12, the theory paper for 60 marks will include topics like management concepts, functions, motivation, leadership, social responsibility, etc. 10 marks will cover different aspects of employability skills like self-management, entrepreneurship, communication. This is advanced to what was done in the 11th standard. And 30 marks is dedicated to projects and vivas. Coming to the topology of questions, this being a skill-based course, the course focuses on learning on applications, and hence majority of the marks are given to application-based learning. So understanding and remembering covers text in the portion. Application-based questions like the one mentioned here focuses on how that learning will be applied in the industry. And analyzing evaluation questions will focus on how the learnings help them in evaluating different scenarios that best suit the question. Some of the projects they can, skill-based projects that they have is, the teacher will facilitate them with visits, internships for practical learning on commercial operations of industry, surveys that they will have to do with either their peers or with the market in their vicinities, SWOT analysis for a specific business, role play and debate-based learning. These are real-life learning that the students will engage via projects throughout the year. Sample of these projects are written here. They will have to conduct a small survey to understand the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on small retailers, so they can go to someone in the vicinity. Create a project on or SWOT analysis of e-commerce business sector of Indian economy. Visit few business organizations near their places of residence and differentiate between the types. Sole proprietorship, what kind of business is it? Visit a business enterprise in your vicinity and interact with the HR manager to understand some of the organizational behavioral challenges faced by you. These projects are carefully chosen to enhance the learning of the course and give them practical experience for the future. It involves various methods that will ensure that they get an overall experience and understanding of what being in management or running a business will be like. The viva questions will be derived from these projects. What can the student expect from their faculty? Of course, the faculty will help them with providing supplementary material. There will be debate and detailed discussions and role plays in the class to enhance learnings of the skills as well as the business and motivational and leadership of discussions held. And a lot of industry-wide support with visits and extra material that the students will have to work on to get a deeper understanding of being an entrepreneur. Next slide, please. These are some of the career opportunities. Of course, management being the clear career option for those choosing business administration or business studies. A lot of courses opens up to you if you have done a business administration course in grade 11 and 12. You can do BBA, BMS, BFT, which is foreign trade, or human resource management. This course supplements the core courses that they have taken, and a student will enhance the ability to be an entrepreneur or a market-ready candidate in the future. This is highly recommended for those who look at entrepreneurship as a future career. Thank you very much. I request Swati to take over to explain the curriculum for computer science.
Thank you so much for the invite. Good evening, everyone. So, computer science is basically a subject which helps people more digital literates, and it brings out of the thinking capability in a student, and it helps the student or a person who learns computer science to use the technology better for a better society. So computer science basically is a study of computers. How well he knows the subject or about computers, he will be able to use it in a better manner for the benefits of the society. Next slide, please. Objectives of computers includes it helps demonstrate proficiency in the analysis of complex problems. How do you break a complex problem into smaller pieces and try attacking each one problem at a time, and the synthesis of solution for those problems. Am I taking the right decision to solve this problem? So solution to this problem, is it not going to affect my next step for the solution of the other problem? So as a whole, is my entire problem solved? Next, get better at problem solving skills using a computer. A computer can solve problems easily and fastly compared to a human being. So it helps to have a better grip on high level programming languages. Excuse me for So what are the different skills and competencies that would be by the student who learns computer science are analytical skills, different problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, logical thinking skills, resilience, and creativity. Curriculum breakup goes on like this. The first unit would be basics of computer science, and next would be a high level programming language, that is Python, and society, law, and ethics. And it will be 70 marks theory and practicals 30 marks, in which there would be a project that they would be making from the knowledge that they have learned from this entire curriculum, and they will be having a report that they would be making and viva for the same. Next one, please. For grade 12, we will be teaching them the part 2 of the Python programming, computer networks, and database management, how well a data can be managed. We have theory for 70 marks and practicals for 30 marks. Can we have everything at once in this, please? So, given a real-time problem, a social problem, we will help the kid analyze and evaluate whatever he has analyzed. Is it fine? Evaluate if the steps that he would take going ahead for making an app to solve this problem, are they correct? Apply the concepts that he has learned via a programming language, basically Python, and the app made, how is it beneficial for the society? So it will be divided accordingly, wherein 35% would be analysis, 45% is application, and 30% how useful it is for the society. Next slide, please. So as a part of this breakup that we had, they have project-based learning, in which why learning a programming language is important in current time, and different programming language concepts that they would have learned, they would apply it, and they will evaluate real world technology related issues. Can I improvise it in any other way? Analyze it. Is there any solution to it? If not, can I create something better for a easier management of the problems that we have currently in the society? Next one, they have certain sample projects that they would be doing, in which they would create a marks grade planner application, and given a list of patients, find out the exact patient record required, and they would be creating applications via Python. Next one, please. As a teacher, my role would be providing them necessary guidance to build the skill that is required, and whatever they have learned, the concepts has to always be learned via the real life scenarios. They should be able to connect whatever they have learned. How are they going to apply it in real life? One of the major thing as a teacher that I could help them in and guide students on analyzing how well the result arrived fits into the situation. At times, whatever result we arrive in do not fit into the situation. So which fits in and which fit does not fit in, as teacher, I would be helping them out figure this out. Next one, please. Few career opportunities are software engineer, software analyst, business analyst, web developer, and a blogger. Thank you so much, everyone.
I would request Gauri Shankar sir to take up from here for history.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Gauri Shankar Singh, and I'll be taking you through the benefits of taking history as a subject. Everybody wonder about what we get by learning history, and we just tend to lose many things and many benefits out of it by thinking in that way. Well, in that case, history is very useful in many different ways. That is why I'm here, just to explain about what students will be learning and what we will be understanding throughout these 2 years, and how beautifully we can learn and also apply curiosity when it comes to learning history. The rationale behind this is history is a social science like other social sciences, and history also is called as mother of subjects, and that helps us understand the past in the systematic manner with evidences, with lot of evidences that are available to us. It's just not like uh, somebody says something and we listen to them. No, everything is recorded with proper evidence, and it is also learned through a proper guidance. Only then it becomes a fact. Students would be introduced to set of important historical events and processes, because it is very important that it is learned in a systematic manner, chronology, and many things to be kept in mind when it comes to learning of history. A discussion of themes, it is hope, would allow students not only to know about these events and processes, but also discover excitement of reading history. Now that's what I was telling about. Children always feel excited when they have curiosity within them, and that curiosity is curiosity is really raised within history and its topics. Next slide, please. Now, what are the objectives that the board have asked us to follow? First of all, efforts in these senior secondary classes would be to emphasize to students that history is a critical discipline, a process of inquiry, a way of knowing about the past rather than just collecting the facts. So it proves that it is also a scientific study. It's not only the art, but also history is not only the art, but also a science to study it in a systematic manner. History also helps focus on some important developments in different spheres like political, social, cultural, and economic lives. Students will appreciate how history Yes, thank you, ma'am. Students will appreciate how historians follow the trails that led to the past, and how historical knowledge develops. And it is very important that we take a lot of examples of many discoveries, the recent discoveries, the past discoveries, to bring in curiosity among the children. Next slide, please. So how the curriculum is in history. Section A, we have early societies in grade 11. Section B, we study about empires. Section C, changing traditions of of the world, and section D, path to modernization. And this is broken up on basis of 80-20 concept, where 80% is theory, as you all know, and 20% will be based on basis of projects that we are giving. And when we are discussing about grade 12, it is in the three different ways that it is broken up. Like section A will explain us about the ancient Indian history, section B medieval Indian history, and section C modern Indian history. So that proves that we will be focusing only on Indian history, which is also very extensive to study within 1 year, but still it gives a lot of information about what we had already studied last few years, and also what we'll be studying in future. And again, this is also about 80-20%. Now, when it comes to assessment topology, basis of Bloom's taxonomy, it is from higher order thinking to lower order thinking to higher order thinking. So if you take an example of one particular concept of human evolution, then we will just think about giving questions on basis of understanding and remembering. So here the question is like, what is human evolution? So next question will be an application based question, where an example can be like, which of the following models, replacement model and regional continuity model, do you think convince us on evolution of human according to you? So there are many theories that we need to understand. Each one will prove us in different way about how human evolution has taken place. And the third one is analyze, evaluate, and create, which has 22.5% of the breakup. If you just want me to give an example, it is like, imagine that you have traveled back in time with the time machine for about 10 million years ago. Which factors of human evolution do you want to observe directly, so that and why? So these types of higher order thinking questions will help students to imagine themselves being in at that time, and that will always make them very interesting, and also to think very critically about how they can learn over the evolution of the man. Next, please, ma'am. Now, when it comes to case study and project-based learning, these are the factors that we usually keep in mind. Encourage students to dig into deeper knowledge of the topics, and apply learning of different theories on the same topics. Think about what else could have happened on basis of the events that have already taken place. Analyze historical events and develop own perspective of the event. To just add on to this slide, one example can be like this. We all know what is happening since 1.5 2 years, where the whole world is undergoing a lot of trouble when it comes to the COVID-19 situation. Now, how can we connect this with history? It is all about history. Only when we know what has happened, we will be knowing the solution. So it is about how the problem can be solved by understanding the roots of the problem. That's how history can be analyzed and history can be learned. Next slide. So when it comes to sample PBLs, there are few samples that we are looking at. Like, most religions have stories about creation of human beings, which often do not correspond with scientific discoveries. Find out about some of these and compare them with the history of human evolution. So we can compare with what religious thoughts are about human evolution and scientific thoughts are about human evolution. We will get to know many things about how different these things are. And this next one is advantages and disadvantages of using ethnographic accounts to reconstruct the lives of the earliest people. It's about how it is a study of humans, and about how it can make a lot of changes and advantages, disadvantages when it comes to studying about this, to know about them. Then substantiate the roots of modern weapons with that of ancient tools. So here children will be trying to extract information about how the ancient weapons are the roots of the modern weapons. how it is connected to the ancient time and how it has come towards the modern times, how many changes are there and how many similarities are there, why and how it is made, everything can be understood. Next slide. So being a facilitator, my work is to provide supplementary material, conduct debate and detailed discussions, guide students on conducting primary research, because most of the works in history is research based, and educate students about quoting the sources and citation, and help students to understand timelines in a proper manner so that history becomes easy to understand. And it is always difficult that the children that face about how we remember dates, how we remember sequences. When we are understanding the timelines, it becomes easy for them. That is one way of doing as a facilitator. And finally, I told in the beginning why history is important, why do we have to take history, and we can find, with the help of these, we can find some of the elite jobs of the world, like helps clear civil service examinations like IAS and IPS. In India, you just cannot become this officer without studying history. It is one of the major subjects, and you can become an archaeologist, a student can become a museum curator,
I think towards the end, Gauri Shankar sir was facing some network issues. We will ask Justin to take it forward with political science. Okay, Swati, if we can have Swati here. If we can have Swati to take forward with information technology.
Hello, everyone. So, information technology. It is basically the study or use of systems, especially computers and telecommunication, for storing, retrieving, and sending information. So, what is the rationale behind information science? Next slide, please. So, there is a lot of data in the current world generating every minute or every second, I would say. It can be managed better using information technology. So data mining and data engineering are few of the core features of IT which are booming currently. Next slide, please. Objectives of IT include equipping students with basics of data analysis, helping them develop a product or process by applying knowledge of programming, database, and networking. So, how are they going to apply the knowledge for converting this data into meaningful information with the knowledge of their programming skills? Basically, SQL, database skills, and networking. How efficiently and securely is it passed via a network? And it will help students to take up leadership roles whenever it is appropriate, because they have vast knowledge about how every core thing of a system works and how is it being communicated and how to extract different types of data. So when the grip on the subject is strong, yes, of course, we can take up leadership roles easily. And it also helps them to have communication skills better. Next one, please. What are the different skills that a student would possess? Information literacy, yes. Analysis of large data, of course, because we will in this particular subject, they will be learning how to analyze data, how to segregate it, how to mine the data from a large amount of raw data that we are getting from the world and make it as information via accuracy skills too, and optimization of resources. With whatever resources they have, they will be able to optimally use them and get to the result appropriately. Next one, please. Next one, please. The curriculum breakup for grade 11 would be employability skills, wherein they would be learning things about communication, and subject specific skills, wherein they would be learning about basics of computers, networks, database management system, and yes, NetBeans, Java as well. In that, they would be having a theory paper for 60 marks, practicals for 30 marks, and a project submission of 10 marks. In project, they will be maintaining a record. They will also have a viva for the same. The same way it goes for the curriculum breakup of grade 12. Next one, please. It again includes employability skills, RDBMS, real-time database management system, Java, and an operating system. They will have a theory paper for 60 marks and project or practicals for 40 marks. Next one, please. Can we have all at once? So, a real-time problem. They will recognize the problem, analyze the problem, how easily can it be solved, and they will evaluate, is this correct? So this comprises of 25%. Next 25% would be application. Whatever they have recognized, evaluated, and analyzed, they will be applying it to figure out the solution for the same, and 50% is what they will have to understand and remember, so that they will get to the easiest way to solve the problem in a faster manner. Next one, please. In the project-based learning, they will be learning how to fetch the data in a most appropriate manner. They will be applying the learning of database management system for faster retrieval of data. When we have large amounts of data, faster retrieval of data becomes very, very important when it comes to CPU speed and memory consumption. And that is where they will be learning how fastly they can be retrieving data from a large database, and will be able to provide well-organized data as information. Next one, please. Few of the sample topics would be, they will be using databases to store the data and easily retrieve the same, and manage the data for its appropriateness. When you are deleting it, is it deleted properly? When we are changing it, is it modified well and stored again well? And next, when permanent deletion of data happens, we have to ensure cyber safety. We have to ensure that the data which has been deleted cannot be retrieved again. There is a trick for this, and they would be learning about the same thing in IT. Next one, please. As a teacher, my role would be to provide them necessary material, and when they come out with a solution for a particular problem, I have to discuss the outcomes of the results that they have arrived, and help the students to think and reflect about the methods that they have followed to arrive at a particular solution. Is the method that they have followed an easier one? Is it feasible in terms of cost and time? These are the different things as a teacher I would be helping them out figure out. Next one, please. Few career opportunities are listed below, mainly which is currently booming: data engineer, data analyst, database administrator, information systems manager, and network administrator. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Good evening to one and all who is gathered here. My name is Justin Johnson, and I am the facilitator of political science for class 11. I would like to extend my gratitude to the management for giving me such an opportunity. So, to begin with, I would like to establish the rationale behind the inclusion of political science as a subject option for the humanities stream in the higher secondary education. The Greek statement Pericles has said once, just because you don't take an interest in the politics doesn't mean the politics won't take an interest in you. Every sphere of the personal life is affected by the political activities. In this context, we want our students to engage with the political process that surrounds them and provide them with an understanding of the historical context that has shaped the present. And the understanding of this historical context is the most important as we live in a post-truth society. And another rationale is to introduce the students to the various streams of the discipline of political science, such as we deal with the political theory, Indian politics, international politics, and then we follow different kinds of methods also by comparative politics and also by doing the public administration. Today, political science has developed into a prominent academic stream. So the CBC in the higher secondary level tries to lay the foundation for a serious engagement with the discipline at the undergraduation level. The entire curriculum for the class 11 is distributed into two books. An objective that we are trying to achieve from the first book, that is the Indian Constitution at Work, are to enable our students to understand the historical process and the circumstances in which the Constitution was drafted. Provide them an opportunity for all the students to become familiar with the diverse visions that guided the makers of the Indian Constitution. Enable the students to identify certain key features of the constitution and compare these with the other constitution in the world. This is where we try to incorporate the comparative politics and also to analyze the ways in which the provisions of the constitution have worked in the real political life. Moving on to the next slide, the objective of the second book, that is the introduction to the political theory. The objective are to develop a certain kind of skills for logical reasoning and also for the abstraction. Inculcate attention to and also to give respect for the viewpoint of others than your own. And they introduce the students to the different political thinkers in relation to a concept and in everyday social life. And also we try to enable the students to meaningfully participate in and develop an internal concerns for the political life that surrounds them. And we also tries to encourage the students to analyze any kind of unexamined prejudice that they may have inherited. Okay, so these were the objective of two books. Moving on to the next slide. The entire curriculum has been developed in order to enhance the competency-based skill, such as the research skill, analytical skill, the aptitude for leadership, public speaking, the logical reasoning, and most importantly, for a political scientist, the ability to interpret the social and the political data. The final assessment will be for the 100 mark. Out of this 100 mark, 80 for the written exam, where each book, that is the Indian Constitution at Work and the political theory, will be having equal weightage of 40 mark each, and the remaining 20 mark is dedicated for a project-based learning. To talk about the topology of the question, that is, for the final assessment, 37% of the questions are based on your demonstration of knowledge or or your reflection of your understanding, and 33% based on your conceptual applications, where you have to find out certain examples, find out certain real life examples and apply to a particular theories and try to solve certain problems. And then finally the 30% that is based on the formulation, Here you are trying to analyze, you are trying to evaluate, and also apply your creativity, and then you are coming up with certain formulations, certain creations. Next slide. So as I said, we have a project-based learning and which has 20 mark. This enables the students to probe deeper into the theoretical concept through the institutional and the industrial links. To complete it, they have to move beyond the textbook and conduct a proper research. The students can analyze any political event or any political theory or any political arguments based on or which is related to the syllabus. And here, the next slide will be a few examples for the project based learning. So I have given few examples like after effect of partition of India, the nature of rights. So here you can have a case study of different constitution. So practicing secularism in India, importance of Articles 32. You can take up any cases related to the constitutional remedies. Then you can talk about the importance. This will be also this also can be as a case study. Next. So to talk about the career options that the political science students have, they are absolutely fit for several jobs. To list a few, public sector jobs. Obviously, every stream is open to the public sector jobs. But what the political science students are particularly eligible, to become a researcher in the field of political science or in any kind of humanities stream, and also the political scientist, risk analyst, very particularly the political risk analyst, and then the international relations, how the countries, how they interact with each others. And then another one is being an academician. It can be in the school or it can be in the colleges as well. And then the UN jobs, which is much more privileged jobs than being a diplomat representing our own country. And then also you can be a political advisor to different firms, and the firms can be political or economical, and you also can work with the representative as the political advisors. So here I would like to conclude with a quote of John F. Kennedy. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Justin. I request Ms. Sonia to please present.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us, parents. I know it's a little late and I know you all are tired, but let's just quickly move on to psychology, which sounds very fancy, but let's come down to the basics and understand why we're studying what we're studying. So, kind of quickly moving on to the rationale, we understand that yeah, sorry. So we do understand that studying experiences, behaviors, and mental processes of human beings within a socio-cultural historical context, introducing our students to basic ideas, principles, and methods of psychology. Moving on, we do have um, creating interest and exposure needed by our students to develop their own knowledge-based understanding of their worldview, and also appreciating the role that cultural factors play in behavior, illustrating how both biology and experiences shape our behavior. Quickly moving on to, um, yes, ma'am. So quickly moving on to our objectives, ma'am, the previous slide, please. Okay, so maybe I'll just talk about a few objectives that we have. A few objectives are to develop appreciation about human and behavior, human mind and behavior in the context of not someone who is across the world, but our students' immediate society and environment also to develop in, an appreciation of psychological knowledge and its application to various aspects of life, to enable them to become more perceptive, socially aware, and more introspective as individuals, and also facilitate personal growth and effectiveness, and to enable them to become more responsive, not just responsible, but also responsive citizens. It's good that we're responsible, but kind of to be responsive and to do something about what we feel is also something that we're going to be inculcating. Ma'am, moving on to the next slide. So some of the skills and competencies is, the first is cost and effective thinking, where so we do understand that human behavior is always caused, right? There's always a reason why people behave in a certain way, whether it's appropriate or inappropriate sometimes. But kind of helping students to understand this whole concept of why we behave the way we behave is something that we're going to be inculcating in class. Also, critical reasoning, allowing students to become more aware of their surroundings and understand the reasons behind behaving in a certain manner. Ability to handle stress. Now, as psychologists, we all know that we all feel that we don't have stress at all, but that's absolutely wrong. All of us have stress, and sometimes stress is good and sometimes it's not. But our ability to be educated about what stress is, it helps us to cope with these problems, helps us to understand and see these stress triggers when we start becoming aware of these psychological concepts, and also avoid them and decrease their occurrence. So that's what one of the skills that we are inculcating. Next is enhancing empathetic and sensitive communication, which is basically learning how other people can help you better adjust to conversations. So sometimes when we are aware of the fact that this is what happens in the human mind and this is why people behave in certain ways, we understand why they're behaving in certain ways, which helps us adjust to how we can compensate or we can adjust to their environment or to that communication or to that conversation. Next is behavioral skills, behavioral training skills. Now, psychology provides tools to become behavioral trainers, which proves not only useful for pets or children or even significant others, but also for everyone, even for ourselves sometimes, right? So this involves conditioning and reinforcement, which are quite common concepts in psychology, in training and modification. Going on to enhancing memory abilities. Now, most curriculum has at least one course where you gain the foundation of neurological basis of memory. Psychology, however, is that very course. We learn how to consolidate and retrieve memory. We learn about the backstage process of what happens with memory. And one example would be how we memorize telephone numbers. Some people can memorize 2 digits at a time. Some people memorize 4 digits at a time. So it really does depend from person to person. And finally, the opportunity to help others. Now, as psychologists, when we dive into psychology, when we learn psychology, it gives you the ability to help others. So you can provide counseling or even pep talks, right? I'm sure as parents, we've always provided pep talks to our children, or even as teachers, or as students, sometimes we do provide pep talks to our peers and to other people around us. And that is something that really does help, our opportunity to help others. Often sometimes we have people suffering with anxiety, depression, or even adjustment to school or work sometimes. And everyone needs a helping hand, right? But when we learn psychology, we have a more understanding, and we have a more skilled to kind of help other people. So these are some of the skills and competencies in psychology. Ma'am, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So the curriculum, I'm sorry, this was the objectives. I think we kind of missed that in between. So I'm just going to read it out if you all don't mind. Um, yeah. All right. So let's move on to the curriculum. So as you can see, the curriculum, psychology is a practical subject. There is practicals in psychology. And if you're wondering what do we do in practicals, please don't worry. We don't treat other humans as lab rats. We just work with other humans and we understand their personality. So please don't worry about that. Next is
I think she must be having some problem. Anju, can you just check with...
Yeah, it's possible that Sonia is having some technical problems. So we will move on with the next presentation then.
Sure.
We will, if we could have Swati taking over, please, with sociology.
Shweti. Miss Shweti.
Kindly excuse us, we are having some technical difficulties, but Swati is back on, so he will take it up from here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and good evening, everyone. My name is Sweti Singh, and I am working as a sociology facilitator in Capstone High. I am going to walk you through the curriculum for sociology for senior secondary. Sociology is a science which deals with human relationships. It is devoted to the study of the life of society, its change and development, social relations, and problems. Ma'am, next slide. Considering the rationale of the subject, sociology studies social life. It means it is dealing with a part of individuals' daily life, their behaviors, and the causes and consequences of the same. Sociological studies are based on the facts and evidences. So, sociologists aim to investigate the structure of groups, organizations, and different societies. Subject deals with empirical investigations, which provides more scope for exploration of society as a whole, and that makes learning a process of discovery. Next slide, ma'am. The learning objective of sociology. The learning objective of sociology enables to understand and to interpret objectively the role of social processes, social institutions, and social interactions in their lives to cope effectively with the socio-cultural and interpersonal processes of a constantly changing complex society. Next slide now. Now we are going to talk about the skills and competencies of the subject. There are almost 8-9 skills and competencies which sociology includes, and the first comes is the problem solving. Sociology seeks to use sociological theory to shed light on solving, not just describing contemporary social concerns, and seeks to use investigation and these problems to further sociological theory. Next is data analysis. In sociology, analysis of data is a process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data with the goal of highlighting useful information, suggesting conclusions, and supporting decision making. The third is logical reasoning. Sociology and logical reasoning are the two sides of the same coin, as the subject studies the society based on facts and evidences. In most of the social research, the scientific norm of logical reasoning provides a two-way bridge between theory and research. Another is research skills. Yes, ma'am. A core element of sociology curriculum is the methods course intended to teach students the value of systematic observation and analysis of social world. Teamwork, is another important skills of sociology. In sociology, teamwork emphasizes the benefits of working together towards common goals for change. Next comes communication. In the subject matter of sociology, communication refers to all behaviors, both verbal and non-verbal, which occurs in social context. Sociology is a study of society and human behavior, so therefore communication is rooted deep in the society. Interpersonal skills are the behavior and tactics a person uses to interact with others. So most of the sociology courses now included interpersonal skills to initiate ideas how to work in collaboration with others. Last skills, which is research and project development skills. These are the very important in sociology to investigate and provide insights into how human society functions. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, coming into the curriculum breakup of grade 11, grade 11 curriculum recommended by CBSE board is divided into two sections. Introducing Sociology is the first book, and the second one is the Understanding of Sociology. Details of the unit-wise subject breakups are shared in the classroom. Assessment will be of 80 marks for theory portion, and 20 marks will be based on projects. Altogether, 100 marks. Second slide, ma'am. Coming into grade 12, again, curriculum is divided into two sections, Indian society and social change and development in India. Here again, the theory examination will be for 80 marks and project work will be for 20 marks, altogether 100 marks. Ma'am, next slide. Now, I'm going to discuss about the topology of questions, means the marks allocation in which assessments are based. So the marks allocation of the assessments are done based on the criteria displayed on the screen to understand the level of the subject competency in a student. The assessment comprises of 25% of understanding and remembering question, 47.5% of application-based questions, and 27.5% of analyze, evaluate, and create questions. And the examples of each type are mentioned in this slide for your reference. Now moving into the another slide, the most important part of the subject is case study and project-based learning. Case study and project-based learning in sociology is a comprehensive study of a social unit of society, which may be a person, family group, institution, community, or event. The aim is that to find out the influencing factors of social unit and the relationship between these factors and a social unit. Next slide, ma'am. These are few PBL topics, that is project-based learning topics, which will be assigned to the student after the completion of each concept, where they can work by using different research methodologies. These PBL projects help students towards the deeper understanding of the subject matter. Next slide, ma'am. So now my role as a teacher as a facilitator is like being a facilitator. My role is to offer support and advice when needed and to provide the necessary scaffolding and teaching of skills when necessary and help the students to develop in depth of knowledge in their subjects. Next slide, ma'am. And the last, I would say, like there are a few career opportunities, and the slide displayed refer to some of the career opportunities that students may pursue after completion of their grade 12 course. They are like social worker. Social work, like sociology as a career, is both, I can say, fulfilling and impactful. So if anyone can opt for a social worker, career is helping people and improving societies, which pretty much defines social worker, is the most sought after job for sociology aspirants. So here, there are a few more career options, like a student can go for journalist, administrative services, administrative support services, survey research, media planner, policy analyst. These are the few of the taking subject as sociology you can opt for in future, and definitely it will give a very brighter future for everyone. Last but not the least, I just want to say, and I want to conclude, that the sociology is a gateway to step further into the intricacies of our society. It teaches us that not only society shapes us, but we also shapes our society. This is common in all society and communities we live in. Sociologists advocate the importance of citizens' awareness and participation, both of which are the foundation of democracy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shweti, for guiding us through the sociology curriculum expectations. Parents, if you have any questions, you can put up in the chat box. I will take them up after at the end of this session. So as you have seen through the teachers' curriculum presentations in their respective subjects, we at Capstone High believe in nurturing environment where children can identify their own passion and are empowered to have thinking mind with their right to aspire to have a more meaningful learning journey. A strong emphasis is given on the development of personal, social, physical, emotional skills through physical and health education as prescribed by CBSE, personal emotional fitness and co-curricular activities under CBSE's SEVA program. These facilities emphasize on individual and team sports, aids in development of a disciplined approach towards personal fitness, both physical, spiritual, emotional, even through online classes in absence of physical classes due to lockdown. As part of the whole education, as you have seen in the presentations by teachers, art education is also strongly embedded in the curriculum in line with CBSE recommendations. We have every week an art class. Integration in art stimulates and develops imagination and critical thinking across subjects, and thus refines the cognitive and creative skills in students. It's very important to develop these skills because it helps them express themselves. To develop the latent talent in art, the art curriculum at Capstone High is specifically designed to curate, to equip students with a better vocabulary and ability in a different way of expression, social and emotional skills, sensory development, and to give them an idea of space. The art education is focused on refining sensitivity and improve relationship. Education today needs to offer students a sense of purpose and offer students an environment to thrive. While rigor cannot be compromised, in their chosen field of study, students need to develop skills to get themselves future ready. Young people are to be made to able to commit to their learning and be involved in its designing. When a community works together to make meaning of their own life, they are strengthened by what they learn and empowered to take action. When teachers and students have an open mind to identify and review their experiential journey, they can explore new opportunities of learning and hone themselves to upgrade their knowledge, skill, attitude towards life. And that is what we look at competency building at Capstone High. Teachers facilitate the transformation in students through ACL embedded in their everyday teaching, connecting classroom learning to real-world situation. Students are guided to identify their self-awareness, how to manage themselves, how to manage time, to be aware of the society around them so that they can connect to the real world. It is transmitted down to the students in their everyday classroom practices. They act as role models in imbibing the core values of school, that is curiosity, conviction, compassion, across subjects that the teachers teach in their daily routine. Students are supported by their mentors also to identify their goals and document the progression of their learning journey in subject competencies through the IEP or individual education plan. So parents, we require your guidance at times. We will be calling you for meetings where we will be together planning out the individual education plan for our students. Ms. Harmeet Kaur, our career counselor, could not be present here today due to personal reasons. She has shared her message for students in a short video presentation. I would request Ms. Suchishmita to please play the video for our parents. It's not audible, Ms. Suchishmita.
Dear students, this 1.5 hours would have been an informative session for all of you. The session is also to prepare yourself for the next most important and the last 2 years of school. As a career counselor, I will share tips to achieve academic excellence first and foremost. I will start with a quote from Aristotle. We are what we consider. Excellence, therefore, is an act. Is not an act, but a habit. Dear students, we perform our habits for different roles in life. Currently, your different roles are of being a student, of a son or a daughter, a sibling, cousin, and friend, and a citizen. Of all these roles, your main role is being a student. As a student, you are living in the best time. Everything and anything can be converted into a career. But the most important part is asked, which is attitude, skills, and knowledge. With knowledge, you should build to become an expert. What skills you should develop to achieve excellence, and what attitude you should carry with them. The choice of subjects will guide you to become an expert and will also shape your career. From these subjects, you will also decide your undergrad and the master's program. This will further lead to different job roles and then shape yourself. My request all of you would be to select the subjects based on your interest and hunger. Hunger to learn more in a given subject. Hunger to innovate from that subject. And this hunger will enable you to become an ongoing learner. As well as your interest will help you to adapt the uncertainty, prepare you for the set expectations, and help you thrive in the work of life. Along with gaining knowledge, you will also focus on developing your skills. These skills will help you to grow in your career and make you a better version of yourself. Last but not the least, your attitude will reflect who you are, from where have you come, how far have you. At Capstone High School, the curriculum has been designed to help you build a holistic perspective. The focus being you, the student, the methodology is customized to help you gain mastery of the subjects, along with developing the life skills that are essential to achieve success and happiness in life. I wish you all the very best in this journey. You can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Good luck.
That was from Ms. Harmeet. And as mentioned by Ms. Harmeet, our focus at Capstone High is to help students develop. As mentioned by Ms. Harmeet, our focus at Capstone High is to help students develop the habits of the mind, to work with a goal in mind, to be hungry, to knowledge acquisition, and have the right attitude, skill, and knowledge to develop the competency much needed in 21st century. Students own strengths, interest, and passion that shape their pathway across the school year towards college and career readiness. Every student is known and understood. This provides the motivation, safety, and confidence that students need to discover and pursue their passions. Students learn through inquiry and problem solving, then apply the lessons to make an impact on school and community. All these competencies developed by the students through their everyday learning with us is celebrated through our annual event, social science annual event Cap Sarvekshana, which is planned in September this year. Learning also takes place in and among the larger community through career guidance, mentoring, internships, and more, which connects students to real world challenges. And as mentioned during our parent orientation, we are organizing engagement of students with experts in different fields of operations so that students get to understand what are the opportunities available in different fields of their studies so that they can plan their future career choices ahead of time. They can as Ms. Harmeet works with these experts, she has identified different gaps that exist between institution and industries, and we are trying to bring in the experts to help us bridge the gap so that our students become future ready. We have seen in through the presentations of the teachers, the continual assessment ensures that students progress towards mastery of competencies, much needed in these foundation years to look ahead in life, to identify their career path, and we offer the right level of support for them. Thank you, dear parents, for your presence here today. If you have any questions, you can, and you have written it in the chat box if you would like to answer.
So we have got one question from Mr. Gaurav Kanodia. He's saying, how are the assessments and exams scheduled for this year?
Ms. Suchishmita, would you like to take, or I will answer?
Any one of us can answer that. Sir, at Capstone, assessments are continuous. So right now, starting from the very beginning, there would be unit tests and projects which would be given to the students, and they will be assessed on basis of that. Apart from that, we will have 4 periodic assessments: PA1, PA2, PA3, and the annual examination, which will assess the students' progress in each of these terms. There's another question from him. Do we have details for subject painting, or is it same as art?
It's not the same as art, sir. Art is offered as a compulsory subject, and that happens once a week. But painting is offered as a core skill-based subject, and we have a different curriculum for that. If you are interested, we will share it with Hardik in the classroom.
There's a question, are admissions still open for current year 2021-22?
Yes, we are still taking admission for the current year 21-22. Since
because of the COVID situation.
yes, because of the COVID situation, and results of grade 10 are yet to be published. So there are a lot of parents who are still in a dilemma. So we have kept it open, and it will be open through August.
So you can see that our admin head, Aisha, and even Colonel Mehta is there. They have put in their numbers over there. Please make note of their numbers, and you can get in touch with them if you require any further details on that. Thank you, sir. And thank you all parents present for their patient hearing and for their continued support for us. Good night, and you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, parents. And if you have any further query, please feel free to get back to us anytime. We'll be happy to support you and your child.